During my trip to Japan, I picked up some really cool magazines and I wanted to show you a couple of them in a few videos. In the last video, I went through this K-Car special magazine all about the Honda Beat. But this time I want to show you this. Another K-Car magazine, but this one is from 1989. So this is a really interesting era in K-Cars because it's right on the cusp of when they changed from 550cc to 660cc. That happened in 1990. So everything in this car will be pre that's, larger engine size. Also, they grew slightly larger in length. So these are all 550cc cars. As you can see, once again, just like the last K-Car one that I showed you, where it has this awesome little illustration on the front. This really cool rendering of, I guess it's no specific car, it's just a mix mash of different K-Cars and turned into this futuristic gull wing door. This is long before the AZ1 came out. Looks like kind of Porsche style headlights, boxy arches, really cool wraparound wing. These glass windows wrap over the top like the new Alto, which would have been fairly new at the time, but the front doors also wrap around, and then they've also got gull wing, really sweet bumper, hints of kind of Porsche 959. It's just a really, really cool rendering. Grabs your attention, makes you buy the magazine, I suppose. So this is a traditional kind of Japanese magazine in that it opens, from what we would call the back. That's the front cover, and you read it this way. The Suzuki Alto had just come out in 1988, this C-chassis Alto, and by 1989 the Alto Works was out. But again, this is very similar to my car, which is just over there behind me. But this is the previous version, so 550cc, and there is a difference in how it actually looks. The front and rear bumpers were different. They kind of come down off the bonnet and they're almost straight down, whereas the one that I have has a little lip and it's a little bit longer. But the actual monocoque chassis is pretty much identical as far as I know. Again, these wheels were available on the larger engine one as well. But the Alto Works, and even in this 550 guys, is the car that caused all of the gentleman's agreement as far as limiting K-cars to have a horsepower of 64 horsepower. And it was all because of the previous generation Alto Works. And all of the manufacturers agreed that they would limit it to that. So even when it jumped from 550cc to 660, the power stayed the same. I have shown some previous brochures on the Alto Works and that they had this kind of relationship with Popeye. So some of these, well, there you go. Actually, that shows you the little extra long bumper. So this is the 660cc one, but it looks very, very, very similar. And you can see all the Popeye stuff there. And this is was also 660, but more Popeye. So Popeye was a continuous thing that they had some brand agreements, I suppose, between Suzuki and Popeye, which I think is really cool. And this is the bog standard Alto. This one is called this is what the 3-door one looked like. There wasn't the Works, but this is the side slim. So it has this weird, one door that opens on a rail on the side like a van on the driver's side, and also the driver's seat actually swivels out and faces you, so it makes for much easier entry and access. This looks like the kind of thing that would have been made for maybe people with disabilities, but this was just a really cool thing for daily driving. So yeah. And then this is into the kind of Alto Works. You can see the difference between the regular Alto, plastic bumpers, steel wheels with hubcaps, versus the Alto Works, which was a lot more sporty. Here's your side slim again. This is showing lots of different variations of the car. So I think that's the regular 3-door. Up here is the 5-door. I saw some of these in Suzuki Plaza, the museum that they have in Japan, and it's just amazing how much space they got into a tiny little car. Look at the difference between, say, the seating and the space in this car to some of the ones we were looking at back here. So here's the front seats, just around that A-pillar. And the rear seats are all the way back here. So there is loads of legroom in there. An okay boot. At the time, this 550cc Alto Works had this style of seat, which is this really cool detachable area here in between the headrest and the main body, where you can actually take that in or out and you flip it upside down and the wings kind of grab you in a different place on your shoulder to make it, you know, fit to your body style or body shape, I suppose. There's the 550cc, that's called an F5A, and when they moved to 660, this engine became an F6A, which is the one I have in mine, the double overhead cam. RSR is the four-wheel drive version, but there was also an RSX, which is the front-wheel drive. This is exactly what my car kind of looked like when I first got it with these wheels. So other than this kind of intro into Altos at the start, like it just shows you how fresh it was. They had all these ads out at the time to promote it. They obviously hadn't been established a long time at this point in 1989, because you don't really see many modified versions of this C-chassis Alto later in the magazine. A lot of them are other brands, things like the Daihatsu Mira. I'm not going to recognize some of these because I'm not actually sure exactly what they are. This, I believe, is a Daihatsu Leeza, which again, they had lots of similar sized ones, but just in slightly different styles from the same brands. It was weird. At the time, it was just this explosion of different models and variations of cars. This is a Honda Today. And again, these two are from a company called no.9, who did body kits and performance parts. Actually, this is as well. Yeah, I mean, this is really cool, isn't it? So I think a lot of these are like Daihatsu Miras. This here with this kind of central nose piece down the grille, you can kind of recognize as a Mitsubishi. So I think that's called a Mitsubishi Dangan. And here's a Honda Today. This is a Suzuki Servo, actually. Again, if you don't see the badges, it's hard to recognize this, but I think that's a Today. This is a Leeza and a Mira. Subaru did also do one called the Subaru Rex, which I haven't seen in this magazine, but the body kits are so extreme that, you know, they kind of changed the whole look of them. Like the box arches are just so cool. Cross are a very well-known brand. They do lots of performance parts and body kits for K cars. Still around to this day. They actually do ECUs and all sorts of stuff. Again, Honda Today. So this is the previous generation of Alto Works. This is the one that caused all the issues. So this is the first K car to hit 64 horsepower out of the 550cc engine. And all the other manufacturers kind of said, enough is enough, let's just stop this arms race and cap it at 64. It's not written in the regulations anywhere, it's more like a gentleman's agreement, similar to what the Supra NSX and Skyline, you know, agreed to 286 horsepower. Oh yeah, the Suzuki Alto Works, first generation, 1987. So even though it was only 543cc, it was 64 horsepower. And I have to say, all of the stickers and livery on it are epic. There is no mistaking that this is a special car. Twin cam turbo, four-wheel drive, electronic petrol ignition intercooler, RSR works. So this is a wheel manufacturer, E-Wing, Emotion. Oh, these are Works. Okay. Works. So these are the models, obviously. E-Wing or Work Emotions. Very different style of Emotion, though. Honda Today. This is an official Honda ad, so that's it in its bog standard format. PGMFI. So this is the fuel injected, as far as I know. 12 valve. Yeah. Related to the engine that's in the Honda Beat, but wouldn't have been as powerful, didn't have the throttle bodies at that stage. Okay, more side slims. Again, more Suzuki They were really pushing the new C chassis. Here is a Works RS X, so that's the front wheel drive one, 4-door, 3-door. Then the RS Or 4-wheel drive one, different wheels, I suppose is how you'd recognise it. And they do have a badge on the back. And this is the 4-wheel drive system. And the double overhead cam, intercooled turbocharged engine versus the regular run-of-the-mill one that probably would have been in this 5-door. Interior. It's not great having these in black and white because you can't really get a proper feel for it, but here's the interior that I have that similar steering wheel in mine, but by the time they went to 660cc, they had evolved some of the interior and those cool seats that I was talking about earlier on with the wings that you can change here in the middle. And this is the kind of competitors that would have had at the time. That's a Mira, that's a Leeza, I think. Today, servo. This is definitely Suzuki actually, because it has this weird kind of long, almost like a 3-door estatey sportback, strange roof line, and actually has a huge sunroof as well in this, and the glass went almost all the way back. So I actually saw that again in Suzuki Plaza. I'll drop in a little clip of it, but really interesting, weird looking car. This is what looks like a Survey Coupe. So again, 547, but this one only 40 horsepower, so it's not turbo. Again, those rear seats, but they're absolutely tiny. And then because the roof tapers back, the boot isn't huge either. But it does have a very cool sunroof. And check out those seats. Epic. Automatic. Very cool. Never seen one of them either. Some performance figures, I guess, on whatever track that was. And then showing the interior space. Look at the legs being wrapped around the passenger in front. Yeah, whatever car that is, it's not spacious. Cargo space, door cards, steering wheels. Okay, Subaru is here, so one of these must be the Subaru Rex. I don't know which one. Maybe you can comment and let me know. Is it this one? Might be. Looks like it has a canvas roof. More door cards. TRXX, that's the Mira. Okay, so this one's the Mira for sure. TRXX, they've been using that acronym for a while. Somebody going absolutely balls out around the corner, clipping curbs and nearly getting rolling it. And the wheel sizes they're using, 4.5J by 12. What's this one? 4.5J by 12. Okay, they're all around that size. 165 tires. Tires and wheels. These are really cool. These triangular kind of 3-spoke design. Mark 1s, you just can't beat those. These are cool. Never seen those before. Track driving. Your braking zones. That's really cool. And this is a little illustration of the first generation Alto Works. More tracks. Is this the same track? No. That's cool. Running through the curbs. I guess this is track driving advice. So this is more like a spec sheet comparison of all the models that are available at the time. What sort of weight are we talking? 660 kilos. The Honda today, 610. The Mira, 590 kilos. That is absolutely crazy. What kind of power do they have? 58 horsepower, 64, 55, 44. So the works was still a little bit ahead of the others at that stage, but a little heavier. So I don't know, is the Mira four-wheel drive at this point or not? I think it was just front-wheel drive. So that probably contributes to the lighter, you know, there's 70 kilos in the difference, which is quite a lot in a small car like that. Here's the Subaru Rex. $600 kilos, 590, 590, 590. Here's this mad servo I was talking about with the roof line that kind of goes back. It's almost like halfway between a sportback and a hatchback. It's, yeah, interesting. Power wise, 40, 32, 50, 50 horsepower. This is this, looks like a Mitsubishi sign here on the front. So is that the Dangan or something similar, but with a canvas top? Let's see what's the lightest one. 570. Okay. So this is the Subaru Rex. What sort of power? So it's only 36 horsepower, so it's probably, you know, not turbocharged. It looks like an eCVT as well, so that CVT gearbox, not ideal if you know about those. And then the vans. Oh, right. So what sort of difference in weight? 850, so they're 150, maybe even 200 kilos up on the hatchbacks, so quite a lot heavier. And then 52 horsepower, 46. Yeah, they wouldn't be the most powerful either. Jimny. What is this? 52 horsepower, 800 kilos. Yeah, so they're just that little bit heavier, even with the canvas top. It's a Honda Acti. I think this is Mira in a few different flavors. Oh, these two are Miras anyway. That's the Mitsubishi. And the original Subaru 360. A WizKid. They're really cool. I don't think they call them WizKids in Japan. I think they sold them in other markets as a WizKid, but I can't be 100% sure. What is this? This looks like a Mira again. So this looks like owner cars being featured. With the cross kit, that is really cool. They actually make a cross kit for the C-chassis Alto like mine, and it has this box arches thing going on as well, and it's just really cool. Mark 1 wheels, SSR. This wraparound spoiler looks like it's one piece for the upper and lower spoiler, which is pretty cool. I love this graphic. So the graphic is obviously coming onto the bonnet there as well, but when it goes up, it goes onto the window and then across. That's really well done. I like that. K-Car Gals. Okay, so it's female owners. K-Car Gals. Oh, that's interesting. So they've got covers for the headlights. That's a very kind of rally style thing. The bumpers and the body kit is very subtle on that, but it makes the whole thing kind of more cohesive. I like that. Again, I think that is a Mira based on the rear lights. Yeah, I think a lot of the content here is Mira because that was the dominant kind of hot version at the time because the Alto had just come out, the new generation Alto. Turbo parts, exhaust parts, oil coolers. This looks like a wastegate controller or turbo pressure, piston rings, head gaskets. It's interesting that they're paired in twos like that. Surely they weren't two-cylinder. Maybe some of them were, oh, N360. So that's for 360cc engines of the earlier K cars. Suspension. Tower bars. Back in 1989 it was still doing the same mods that we do now. Springs and brake pads, bushes, anti-roll bars. This brand comes up a lot in this magazine. It must have been one of the leading performance brands at the time. Cook Sports, which is a very unusual name. There's your Mira with the body kit, wide arches. Cockpit, that was one of the ones that came up in one of the Honda Beat magazine I showed last time, so it must be, and same with Palms, so they must be handle all sorts of different brands. Again, a Mira trying his best to cock the wheel up. Ooh, that's pretty badass looking. Nice wide kit. Dual exhaust. There's your intercooler on the top. Cross again. This one is, I think, an Alto Works based on the hood scoop. It looks like the one that was on the Alto Works I saw in the museum, versus the kind of Mira one that's slightly different. Yeah, those seats are definitely the Alto. An added radio, because a lot of them didn't come with radios as standard. So it looks like the radio is actually, this is like an install guide. You have to put in your own cage below it, because there wouldn't even be a slot for it. Where to put the speakers and mount them on the parson shelf. Yeah, Mira. Everything in this is Mira, Mira, Mira. The Alto just hadn't reached its stride, I don't think, at this stage. Became the most popular one later on, probably, you know, when it jumped to the next generation of 660cc engines and slightly different design. Speakers, head units, oh, that is so cool. Kenwood graphic equalizer, let alone has it got the graphic display showing the EQ, but it's also got individual controls here for the EQ. I like that. Amplifiers, Bose. So I don't know as much about K-Vans, if I'm honest. Just not something I consider buying myself. A try is Daihatsu, I think. I like these illustrations though. I guess they're showing going through roads and off-road and the capabilities. So some of these are probably four-wheel drive as well. Wheels. Car Club news. Live Sports or Live Sports, they were around for a while. I don't know if they're still going. Oh, Pasta Sport. Yeah, I've seen ads for them before as well. Pasta Sport. That's a full kind of body kit, similar to the Cross one. Very cool. Super aggressive. Is the old Alto Works. Must be for wheels, brake pads. This dude is very excited about his Honda today. I guess this is owners being featured again. I like this combination of black and red. Reminds me of the AE86. That is an Alto with a cross kit and Mark 1 wheels. Very nice. So Cross, you often see this Takeoff. I think it's a part of Cross, or it's just one of the brands that they use. Cross Takeoff. if you're ever looking for it on Yahoo auctions or something. Here's another one of these wraparound spoilers, but this time it looks like there's a split, so the upper half and the lower half are separate. So here, well, that's probably for that car. Art Vanning. Look at this hood scoop. Double hood scoop for the intercooler. I wonder, does he have a massive intercooler under there? I doubt it. This is your Cook Sports I was talking about. So wheels, clutches, everything, all the performance parts. Suspension, brakes, and the race car. Nabu. So this is the one we saw at the very start. Here. So this is a full ad for that same Honda Today kit, which I think is really nice. Very cool wheels that kind of suit that kit as well. Trust, Monster and Cross. There's three absolutely epic brands that are all around still. And this is the first generation Alto Works. And the last one here is the Subaru Rex. Yeah, so open canvas top. eCVT with supercharger. Yeah, supercharger great. eCVT not so much. And to finish it all off, this is a Daihatsu Leeza. So I do like this kind of wraparound spoiler around the back and an upper spoiler as well. It looks very kind of like in proportion for this half of the car, and then it just completely cuts off at the back. It's kind of stubby at the back. So I'm guessing it's a K car, but it has quite a long bonnet. 50 PS. So that is it. I just think this is a really, really interesting magazine. Just an insight into what was happening in K-Land and all the crazy modifications that they were doing back then. And they were just on the cusp of moving to 660cc, where there was a whole other tranche of performance modifications that came out. And along with that, you know, it was right before the Honda Beat, the Suzuki Cappuccino, and the AZ1 came out. So this was prime crazy K-car modifications and different models at the time. Explosion of creativity in Japan, and just encapsulates all that in one sweet magazine. Hope you like that. All the best.